Shalawama, Shalawama. I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. We're back with our presentation of the Gospels and the Zodiac, the secret truth of JC. Shalawama, Shalawama. I'm Dr. Hold on a minute. Zion Law School. We're back. All right. So we are on page 57. This is going to be a very short presentation, under 30 minutes for sure. Okay, if not 30 minutes. All right. If it goes longer than that, y'all please put it in the chat. Let me know, because I only got time for about 30 minutes today. All right. Like and share the video, y'all. Subscribe if you have not already. All right. Share the video out, please. I'm going to give it 1 second here before I get started. Let me post this. I'm trying to do some things differently. Y'all see that the number of views have gone down dramatically. I guess these people really don't want this information out. Y'all see the views are now only like overnight, 24 hours, 12 and 16 people. Last week, we were up at 100, which is still low. Still low, but, you know, the information, we're being shadow banned. So passing this out doesn't help me and me alone. It helps us all, because the more of us who get this information, the more of us wake up. All right. You can make a conscious decision whether or not you're going to continue in these Abrahamic religions. And if you do continue in them, at least you know what you're dealing with and what you're doing. At least you know the position of the leaders, okay, the dark priesthood, okay, and you can make better decisions on behalf of your family, and you can return to the Most High, return to nature as a choice and not through a beat down, okay? You can start to act on behalf of yourself, your family, your community, your nation. You should be thinking nationality and begin to master those things that matter, which is nature, and law and linguistics are nature, okay? So anyway, do what you can to do what you can do to help distribute this video. The spiritual lessons of Aries. Let's get started. The spiritual lessons of Aries on page 57. We can legitimately extrapolate from these ancient and modern descriptions the intrinsic qualities of Aries symbolism. Okay, so here are the symbolisms associated with the zodiac sign Aries. Beginnings, so that's plural, so that would be new beginnings, right? Beginnings or new generations. Leadership. Pioneering, that's leading the way. Now, very interesting, I just realized something. In the religion that I was in, if you were a full-time minister, they would call you a pioneer. And so I spent time pioneering. Now they preach that the kingdom, or the Tetragrammaton's kingdom is coming, and that we're in the last days. Kingdom is coming. See, that new beginning is coming. I guess that's where they get this term pioneer, Aries. The kingdom ruled by JC, Aries. Okay, y'all? That's why they call it the pioneer. And by the way, those of you who are either in that religion that preaches door to door and on the street, society, look up the etymological meaning of society, which is what they call their governing body. Look that up, and you're going to be shocked at what you find. Okay, let's continue. Pioneering, urgency. All they were concerned about was how much time did you put in, how much books, how many magazines did you place? They always kept you in a state of urgency, heightened urgency. All of their meetings, urgency, urgent, urgent, urgent. Woodall, to the ancient mind. All right, to the ancient mind. The ancient mind. What do we get from that? That is the principles of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. Okay, so all of those are associated with Aries, y'all. All of those are associated with Aries. These are all primarily themes of the Gospel's first 3 chapters. The pace is frantic. Everything seems to happen quickly, with nobody having much time for pause or reflection. Mark's fondness for the word immediately is particularly apparent. Of the 40 or so times he uses the word immediately in his gospel, in the Gospels, 11 occur in chapter 1 alone. Peter and Andrew, James and John, all leave their nets to follow JC, the Christ figure. The latter two without any evident word of goodbye to their presumably bewildered father or to the hired men. This is Mark chapter 1, verse 16 through 20. So y'all should know it's something already wrong with that, right? That's disrespectful. See, remember I was talking to y'all about the bad morals, bad character that's taught by these scriptures, okay, taught by these gospels, by the Gospels, the New Testament. Remember, the Reverend Robert Taylor brought that to our attention. Okay, now here's an example. You're gonna leave, you're working for or with your family or however the arrangement is, right? Whatever your business obligations and your family obligations are, you should think natural law, and you just leave and don't say a word, you just disappear, abandon them. Y'all ever thought about it that way? Okay. John's baptism, oops, I'm on the wrong place. Left his nets, left all the equipment, didn't clean anything up, didn't put anything back. Was their father or people that they work with capable of doing that work without him? Even to just put it away or without them? Maybe they were, maybe they were not. Well, that's poor character, right? You just walk off your job, you just walk off. Don't put anything back where it's supposed to be. Leave early, don't say anything to anyone. Would you do that on your job? But the excuse, of course, is that he saw the Christ, and so he wanted to follow. Right? So therefore, you see the Christ, you go follow, you forget all your obligations, your responsibilities, you put other people in a bad situation so you can go follow the Christ. Now that's what's being said here. He could have taken care of his responsibilities and then went and followed, and the Christ, if he was a decent person, the Christ would have understood that. Who in their right mind would not understand that? You see that? Without saying goodbye to their presumably bewildered father or to the hired man. They just left the job. All right, something like that, you're liable to get fired for, right? It was remarkable how commentators down the centuries have inferred from this reference to hired men that the family of James and John was quite well off. However, as we saw earlier, the hired man in the ancient Babylonian, let me repeat that. Quote, the hired man, end quote, is the ancient Babylonian name for the constellation Aries. Y'all got that? So he left his father and the hired men, or he left his father and the constellation Aries behind. This is not a biographical detail. It is an Aries flag, all right? So that hired man signifies Aries. There's your flag or indicator. Leaving the hired man also symbolizes leaving the age of Aries and entering the new age of Pisces. Y'all got that? Aries, the Jewish system, Pisces, the fish, the Christian system. Okay, so they left the hired men. They left the age of Aries so that they would enter and then they would enter into Pisces. Y'all got that? So check it out yourself. Let me go through this again. The Babylonian name for the constellation called Aries, the zodiac sign of Aries. In Babylon, it is called the hired man. There you have it. Y'all go research that. All right. Let me know what you find. The call of the tax collector, Levi, expresses a similar idea in Mark chapter 2, verse 13 through 17. The Levites were the priestly tribe within Judaism. Within Judaism, the tribe to which Moses belonged. They had helped Moses punish the people for the heinous crime of building a golden calf by putting about 3,000 of their fellow Israelites to the sword. They exterminated them. This is Exodus chapter 32, verse 28. Thus, they were instrumental in the symbolic changeover from the age of Taurus, the bull, the calf. So that's the golden calf. All right. They made an image of the constellation or zodiac sign Taurus, a golden Taurus, a golden bull. And of course, the Egyptians, where they had been, right, for a long time, were master astrologers. So they would know about the zodiac, and they knew that they were in the age of Taurus. Y'all get it? So Moses and the Levi, the religious arm, the Levites, come and kill off all of those people, Israelites, Isis, Ra-El, who made a golden calf in honor of Taurus. They killed them all, signifying the transition out of Taurus into Aries. Okay, now the author gave us a few phrases. These words, these are the intrinsic qualities of the signs or symbolism of Aries. Beginnings. See the relationship? Israelites leaving Egypt, going into the promised land for a new beginning. Or they left Egypt, you can look at it this way. They left Egypt and struck out on a new beginning. Leadership. Moses and the Levites took a leadership role in exterminating those who wanted to stay in the age of Taurus. Had to get rid of them. Y'all see it? They paid with their life. All right. So here is the trauma and the turmoil that you see that I talked about in the other videos that go along with transitioning out or exiting one zodiacal age and entering into another. Pioneering, trekking through the wilderness, urgency, etc., etc., etc. All of those qualities are symbolic of Aries. So let's go back to the text. All right, we're on page 58. They had helped Moses punish the people for the heinous crime of building a golden calf by putting about 3,000 of their fellow Israelites to the sword, Exodus 32, verse 28. Thus, they were instrumental in the symbolic change over the transition from the age of Taurus, the bull, the calf, to the age of Aries, the ram, the lamb. They were allowed no land at the time of Joshua's conquest, but were to receive tithes. That is, the Levites were not given land, but they were to receive tithes from other tribes instead. Okay? In Mark's gospel, Levi is collecting taxes, not tithes, but he leaves all this behind him to follow JC, Christ figure. Just as the Levites had helped Moses in the time of the transition from the age of Taurus to the age of Aries, now in the person of Levi, who, along with Peter, Andrew, James, and John, was to become a, quote, fisher of men, end quote. They were to help JC, the Christ figure, in the transition from the age of Aries to the age of Pisces. Levi's father is appropriately called Alphaeus or Alphaeus, a name which means changing. Y'all got that? Levi's father is appropriately called Alphaeus, a name which means changing, transition, change of the age, change of the zodiac age, transition from one zodiac age to the other. The speed with which these men follow JC, the Christ figure, has led some literalist commentators to speculate that perhaps JC had met them before and was only then giving the signal for them to join him permanently. Now, literalist means what? Examination of the text itself, the grammar. Okay, examination of the grammar itself, the vocabulary. Okay, what it says. You can consider known history, mythology, what have you, if it's appropriate in the context of the text, okay? As opposed to making stuff up, using your imagination, talking about what they might mean or what it could mean, all right? So let's continue. It's possible, but the gospel gives us no indication of any previous meaning, and such a prosaic explanation misses the vital meaning which these incidents have by virtue of their location in the Aries section of the gospel. While the urgent onward movement of these early characters obviously symbolizes the passage of the equinox from the constellation Aries to the constellation of Pisces and the beginning of the new age. It also teaches a valuable spiritual lesson that the decision to embark on a life of self-discovery is not one to agonize over in interminable internal debate. In other words, you do it and get on with it. Make the decision and do it. Don't think twice, don't doubt, do it. So again, changing of the age and the equinox. So here's the celestial equator. Look over in the east at about 5:30, 5:45 in the morning, and you'll see a constellation in the background. This tells you the age, all right? 5:30, 5:45 in the morning, the sun is coming up over the horizon, right? Sun is coming up over the horizon. Now you see the sun, you see the horizon, here's the sun, and behind the sun, you see the constellation. In this case, they transition from Aries into Pisces, all right? So let's continue. The call of the disciples, the call to discipleship demands a quick response, a willingness to go out in faith, like Abraham and Moses, without the whole battery of assurances that we normally require before prudently making our important decisions. Yes, you want to make sure that you can succeed, that you'll be safe and warm, but you shouldn't drop your responsibilities, leave people who depend on you hanging. That's poor leadership. You shouldn't abandon people. Walk off the job. Don't say goodbye to your loved ones. Let them know where you're going so they don't worry. So they're not brokenhearted, wondering if you got kidnapped or killed. All right? Read analytically. Think. Now, this is a quote. Now is the acceptable time, end quote. Writes St. Paul, quote, now is the day of salvation, end quote. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 6. St. Teresa of Avila, born under Aries, 28th of March in the year 1515, was well aware of the dangers of procrastination. Quote, my own temperament is such that when I desire anything, I do so with impetuosity. Okay, this is from Du Boulay, page 8. She wrote, and she alerted her sisters in the religious life to the fact that, quote, many remain at the foot of the mountain who could ascend to the top. Now that's very true. When you make a decision, do it. Don't hesitate. Act immediately. Don't wait. Right? Don't wait. But don't wait and act immediately doesn't mean don't carry out all of your responsibilities and obligations. Don't abandon those who love you. Don't just walk away and nobody knows what happened to you, where are you, et cetera, et cetera. All right? Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me check the signal again. Do we have a signal? All right. So yeah, we're still good. Y'all like and share the video. If y'all still here, like and share the video, okay? I would appreciate that. Put something in the chat, y'all. It helps the algorithm. Share it to your social media. Share it to your social media, okay? Okay, now let's continue. All the spiritual traditions emphasize the importance of making the initial decision to live a life of the Spirit. Now, what in the world does to live a life of the Spirit mean? Spirit means breath. The art of living, the art of breathing is the art of living. What do they mean here? And tell us that it has to be made before we attain intellectual conviction over metaphysical propositions. We can't wait until we know for certain the capital God exists, or that JC lived, or that this or that religion is true before we embark upon the journey of self-transformation. Now, I would agree as far as the journey of self-transformation, but in terms of joining a religion or accepting